Just please apologize for being late, Habini.
Guys.
Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, please go on.
Yes. Hello, everybody. So, a very good morning, afternoon, and evening, probably night as well for some of the people who are here. Thank you for joining this session. So, we are at How to be recognized in the data science market with our very wonderful AI Wonder Girls, whom all of you will find very amazing and they've achieved a lot. And they're going to be sharing all that with us. But before we move in, let me introduce myself. I'll be the moderator of this discussion. My name is Harini. I'm the head of projects at Omdena, and I've started as a collaborator, a junior machine learning engineer, and then a product owner. And here I am with the head of projects role at Omdena. I've also worked with a few AI technologies. And in part with the session over here, I've known each and every person on the call who's here right now. And I'm looking forward to start our discussion. So before we again go into the panel discussion, let's just do a bit of introductions, starting with about Omdena and the rest of the speakers. So, why are we here about this live event on how to be recognized in the data science market? We started with a poll on social media, and we saw that career development tips were something that, interestingly, Omdena community was more interested in. And then we observed a huge success in our last live event. Hence, we decided to launch a series of career services events. And today we are at episode 3 of that. And before diving in that episode, let me just give you a small introduction or summary about who we are and what Omdena is. We are a bottom-up collaborative AI development platform where a global community of collaborators, change makers, we call them change makers because they build innovative and ethical AI solutions to some of the world's most pressing and real world problems. So we will build them with NGOs, social enterprises, and impact driven startups from all over the world. So I'm very much excited to be here today to facilitate this event representing Omdena and our community. And of course, some of my very good friends who are here as AI Wonder Girls on the call. So diving into the discussion, I will just go one by one. We have very interesting bios of our panel people over here. Starting with Aruna, she's an IT professional from India with 18 years of experience, just 18 years of experience in software development in areas of machine learning, deep learning, NLP, embedded systems, application software, telecom operators. So it just goes on with web, iOS, Android applications, etc. She's also a senior data scientist and architect. She designed end-to-end pipelines from requirement analysis to deployment. She also works with object detection. She works with PDF text extraction, and there's just a lot that she works with Edge AI application to optimize the inference pipeline. She works with NVIDIA Jetson Xavier AGX. She does C++. She also works with data science consultancy projects. Apart from all this on her interesting bio, she has taken a keen interest in contributing on leveraging AI for social good and sustainability in healthcare and other SDGs. So that's about Aruna, who's from India. Next, I'll move on to Sara, who is there on the call. She's a PhD student at ENSIS Morocco. She's a part of the diversity and inclusion group of the Python Software Foundation, the lead of TFUG Casablanca, as well as the co-organizer at GDG and WM Casablanca. So I'm just reading all their introduction from a written space because it's just a lot more each one has in their profile. Sara as well likes to contribute to AI for good projects using her machine learning knowledge to create a positive impact on the society. She's a machine learning pathway mentor at STEM Away, and she actively helps enthusiasts to get started into machine learning and helps them draft the upcoming virtual internship projects. She's also involved in a lot of competitions, which improves her skills. We'll get to know about the competitions that she's involved in few minutes time. That's about Sara. Next one is Michelin. Well, I've known Nishin as well because we've worked together before. She leads a global team of data scientists, ML engineers as a project manager and a tech lead at Umdena. She also has about more than 15 years of experience. She's been developing products, building software infrastructure, and technical marketing for Fortune 500 companies. And she gives her time for volunteering, mentoring, teaching, in local school community and data science organizations. She has a Master of Science in Physics and a PhD research in astrophysics. So we have very good academic people as well present here. Next one is my most favorite. I'll go with Rosanna. She's been my mentor as well, and we've been known each other for like a year. She holds a PhD in astrophysics, currently dedicating her career to technology for social impact. She's experienced in various roles. She's been like a technical side at a senior data scientist and a lead machine learning engineer, a product owner, a mentor. So she's worked on the technical and the leadership side. She's worked on projects concerning disaster management, renewable energy, sustainability, sorry. And she's always excited about using AI for good. Any new way, you can let her know and she will be excited to use that for good. Her greatest passion is empowering women and young students into the world of AI. In her free time, she offers advice on getting into AI or changing careers through one-on-one calls and building projects with minorities teams. Thank you, Rosanna, for being here. Next one is Kulsum. She is a data scientist with around 7 years of experience in data science and machine learning, and she's previous experience in network security data visualization, which is for about 5 years. She's currently working at a healthcare insurance company. Previously, she's been with malware and human resource domains. She attended the University of Central Florida and received her doctorate in electrical and computer engineering from Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech. And her interests are in applied machine learning, deep learning research, and of course, AI for good. All our AI Wonder Girls are very much focused into AI for good. The next one is Anju. She has completed her master's in computer engineering from Syracuse University, New York. She has worked for about 10 years in units of various software industry. She's been a software engineer, an infrastructure engineer, project manager, business analyst, and a product owner. I don't know what is left through, but she's been through all these roles. She's pursuing her interest in data science, working as a lead machine learning engineer, NLP, computer vision, and deep learning on her strong skills. Not to forget, she's also the director of Women Who Code in the Silicon Valley chapter. The next one is Erum. Erum is one of those ladies that I admire a lot from her amazing path. She's a data science and machine learning enthusiastic speaker, mentor, and lead ML engineer. She has done her MS in information technology from NUST Pakistan, and she's currently working at the same university as a media expert, where she also guides like postgraduate students in research, and she's also a subject expert in educational technologies. And she landed in the data science field after joining Omdena's project on anomaly detection from the surface of Mars and deep learning. She loves teaching, and as transferring knowledge helps her to build it first. So she's an amazing teacher and a mentor that we have over here. Next one is Melania. Hi, Melania. She's a data scientist with expertise in bioinformatics and ML, and she's interested in everything about data. Again, AI for good person. She has dedicated her data science practice in healthcare projects, and she's been contributing to diverse projects with a focus on medicine. She has also done a PhD in microbiology and is currently at UCLA. She's investing the contribution of a novel mitochondrial RNA transport pathway to cancer, COVID-19, and neurogenerative diseases using big data and her expertise in ML. So that's a lot in healthcare. That's very good to know, Melina. And in her free time, she's a mentor for data scientists, a project manager who works with social impact, such as postdoc legal case study in an NLP-based project. She's all as a part of our AI Wonder Girls. She's contributed to her first ML Ops project, which of course all our ladies will be talking about. And that's all about her. So once again, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all our speakers, our panel discussion, of course, the audience. We hope you'll have a very exciting session, and thank you for taking the time. So it's been a lot of introductions talking about myself too and rest of the folks. We'll just dive into the panel discussion. Starting with my first question. I've been using the term AI Wonder Girls a lot, and I've been saying that, yeah, you'll get to know about it. So my first question is, who are AI Wonder Girls, and how did you all meet each other?
Okay, so I'll take that. So first, I would like to also thank Harini for this very nice introduction to all of us. And you kind of already know each other, but it's like when we hear the bios, it's like really like, wow, those are really cool ladies. So it's really nice to see and to hear actually. So I would say that in short, what the AI When the Girls group is as I usually say, is like a sisterhood of women who can trust and rely on each other, and we are there as a team to show that it's possible to have a completely all women team that can deliver really impactful AI projects, and in our case also in competitions as well. So how we met, I would say that there is like as I said, like there is a lot of this AI for social impact bubble out there, especially at least I think since the pandemic started, especially like because we all started to work from home and so on. So that is something that we learned how to collaborate with each other, and from all over the world. And I would say that there are like so many platforms. I'm sure that others of us will talk more about it, but basically we got to know each other from like I don't know, some networking events, some webinars, and some projects as well. And at some point we were kind of like we kind of already know each other from all those places as well. So and specifically this group, so we have two groups. Like there is the team and there is the group, and then our group started more or less in December last year, if I'm not mistaken. And we were actually finalizing, some of us were actually finalizing a project from Dina. It was actually a project about climate change. And we were just like writing the article for like a final article for that project. And it was an article that we wanted to have only the girls writing because there were lots of ladies in the team. And we were talking about the article and so on. And at some point we just started to talk about like life, as always happens, like when you're working together and so on. That's how we make friends. And then at some point we were like, let's just like continue this conversation, like because it was such a nice thing. Like we just started to share lots of things, and this is how our group started. And from that, you know, like we are always sharing like advice and things. There is this course here, or there is this new project, or there's this competition and so on. And we decided to just go for like a kind of organically for one of those projects because we all have shared this like social impact interest, and of course the AI interest as well. And the nice thing is that we have quite a lot of diverse backgrounds, as you already got from the conversation. Like we also come from very different places, and I think this is very crucial to actually contribute in a kind of like impactful way, because we are in different stages of our career. We have a different, I would say, like a spectrum of knowledge and so on. So it's something that is very complementary. And I think that this is kind of like the beauty of our group is that, or our team is actually that we can really like support each other. Like for example, sometimes we know that some of us are struggling with something, or maybe we don't have the time, or maybe we are, you know, involved in other things, but we still can rely on each other. And I would say that the thing that makes us work so well is because we really trust and respect each other. So this is something that is very strong, at least from my perspective, and this is how I feel, at least about working with all of you. And just like we have the AI Girls group, but the AI Wonder Girls was Sarah's idea, because we were like, okay, we need to come to this team, to come to this competition. We need to come to with something that is like catchy, and so like, okay, as AI Girl, like okay, AI Wonder Girls. So like, and it works very well. It's something that is very, very good idea. And now we are the AI on the growth. Yeah, that's the story.
Thank you, Rosanna. We're happy to have the AI Wonder Girls here. So I'll move on to the next one. So we have this audience who will be particularly interested in understanding about AI and careers, etc. So one thing is that how did all of you become so influential and effective in the AI field? How is it possible from your end, and what skills actually helped you in this?
Okay, I can start. I can get started. Hi, I'm Anju here. Again, I'll just like to start by saying thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. So how did we become influentials? I think the one main thing is we do stick together. It's like, that's one thing. But individually, I think we developed our skills by first, getting through our course material. We still, all of us are not perfect. We're still like learning through different courses and working through different courses and like honing our skills like every day. But we are passionate about it, and we just like to jump into whatever we get. If there is a hackathon and somebody posts about hackathon, we're like, yeah, we want to go get in and we want to give our best. Sometimes with the timings that we have, we're not able to give so much time, but we still like want to like give back or help out each other. So one thing with the ML Ops or hackathon that I found out was like our togetherness, like being together and learning from each other has been very helpful. I think that has been like our biggest skill, or I would say like a power. Our superpower was actually us sitting together and helping each other out and being kind to each other. That's one superpower I think that's AI to Girls group has. And also individually, we also work towards upskilling and learning from each other. So that's been our top. I think that's how we kind of like in this field and like trying to hone our skills, right?
Thanks, Sanju. So in general, does anyone like to talk about the skills in terms of the database, NLP, data engineering, in addition to what Anju said, on how we can build our skills that way, and how you guys build your skills so that you will become effective in the AI field?
All right, let me explain you. First of all, thank you, Omdina, Hereni, and Rehab, and all AI Wonderful also. So, what skills are required to be a data scientist, and then what skills we acquire? These are two different things. So, uh, data science and machine learning is not a one discipline. It is linked with every discipline. So whenever you say machine learning, so it is not a computer science. That is a very wrong myth we attach with that. So data science skills should be possessed for everyone who is working in medical field, who is working in business marketing, or social media, or you can say social science subjects. So that's the one thing I would like to highlight over here. And what skill any person should acquire being a data scientist is that uh, first of all, uh, data science is related to data, so it is getting important feature from data. So being a subject expert, you should know what feature you are looking forward and which kind of data you are looking forward. So being a data scientist, you should have a good data interpreter or data cleaner or the feature engineer. Next, moving forward, so once you are done with that, what you want to do, like if you have your data, you have your feature, what's the next? So in your field, for example, being a medical expert, you want to see what are you want to basically uh, classify a disease. Let's go for classification algorithm. Then being a medicine specialist, you have classified that, then you want to present that to someone. So you can learn about how to present your model, and how for example building a web application. And for web application, there are various skills, for example, Streamlit application and a few other web applications are available. Moving backward, data kind. For example, sometimes we have textual data set, sometimes we have image data set. So for text data set, you need to know machine learning algorithm and deep learning algorithm. And for uh, image data set or for video data set, you need to learn about computer vision techniques and then applying, those machine learning techniques. So if you say in broader term, you need to learn basically the concept and then figure out what we need to learn. So being a data scientist, you need to know data engineering, machine learning algorithm, and then if you want to go into deeper detail, deep learning algorithm, and then computer vision and so on. So once you are clear with what you want, then you would able to basically learn step by step. So that is a wrong myth. For example, I mentor few people and I help them out in building their portfolio. Whenever they come to me and they used to say, I want to be a data scientist, I want to switch my job. So what should I do? I start asking them what you are currently doing. I am a business administrator person, but I don't like my this job. Then I used to ask them, if you want to switch your job, so how would you able to learn the one which you have not studied yet? So I always help them out. Which subject you like the most in your current position? What are the area you like the most? Can we bring data science over here? Do you have your data set? What are the important feature for example for marketing? Which are the pinpoint we can get from data? How you can get that? So they used to say like I have Excel sheet and I will pick them out. But if you have thousands of data set, how would you able to do that? Then you need to automate that. Then go back to your Python code and learn about how to automate the data. And once you know automation of data, now you want to classify that, like this kind of feature can be classified in this category. Let's apply machine learning classification algorithm. Let's learn that. And you move forward with step by step. You can't, like, believe me, if you are saying you want to be a data scientist and you want to learn everything, you wouldn't be able to figure out starting point. So the best advice would be just stick with your subject and then bring data science in that subject.
Thank you, Aram. Thank you very much for that insightful feedback and the way you develop your skills and how you mentor others as well on developing their skills into AI. Thank you very much. Yeah, my next question is like a very, I wouldn't say like a common question, but it's like a one sentence question that everybody's looking forward to, the work-life balance. So as women in AI or any career for that matter, life might become difficult. So in general, how do you ladies like empower the balance between life and work? And are there any difficulties that you meet in this field? And if so, how did you overcome that? That would be an interesting one for the audience to listen and also follow that if they are facing any issues like that. And the work-life balance would be amazing to hear.
I could take that one. Hi, I'm Kulsum. Sure. So I guess I would say first that as as women, or if you're not a woman or identify, where we all have different life responsibilities and work and things going on and challenges and difficulties that we all face. So some things that we can generally all try to do is I can tell you what I try to do at least is I'll first try to check in with myself to see, how am I doing? Because I have this tendency to work really hard and I'll keep going and going and sometimes just not stop and not pay attention. The signals from my brain and my body might not be telling me, hey, you need to take a break. So sometimes I have to actually manually schedule that and say, okay, how am I doing? And another thing I'll try to do is to just check in on what am I working on right now, or what are the to-do lists and the tasks and whatnot, what's my progress in these things. And I'll just maybe reevaluate at the time, okay, here's the time I have now, here's what's maybe more important, I'll do this first. Here's some things, they're not really important right now, let me put them to the side to give myself, a break. Because, we're humans, we're not robots. So we have to, be mindful of that. And if we get too much into doing, so much work and not taking care of ourselves on a break, we end up actually not even being productive and not helping ourselves. So I know in my case, I sometimes have to really force myself to take a break. Even if I think I want to keep working, my brain, my mind is spinning to do something. So that's one thing. And then as far as what I try to do for, physical and mental health, is in my case, I do like to do weightlifting. So that's my exercise. And even when I'm, kind of tired or, not feeling like it, I still try to do some kind of a movement, because that does help me both physically and mentally with my sleep, your long-term and your short-term health and productivity. And if you have activities that you enjoy that give you, comfort or give your mind a break, I would say try to get yourselves to do those things sometimes, even if you have a long to-do list, because there's always going to be things you have to do or things that you think you need to learn, or you need to do this and that, but life is short, and just try to really take care of yourself and try to have fun too. So those are just some few tidbits I'd give in general.
Thank you, Kulsum. I think everybody will know that how we can, not stressful, but how to strike a balance and how we go through the professional career as well, keeping our other part of lives alive and good. Thank you. So the next one is AI Wonder Girls in general. You guys have met through various communities and have also been a part of various projects together. So before we move on to the other project that we'll mainly be focusing on, I would like to hear about the communities that helped you and what projects that you have worked upon, especially like what kind of projects, which domain of projects, and how did it go about, what was the scope, etc.
I will be taking that one. Hello everyone, I am Sara. So I'm actually going to first start with my experience, and then I will share the experience of the other ladies. So as a start, I wasn't really a community person. I was, like the perfect core student. I was just studying as everyone, and I was trying to get the best marks and all of that. And then in my last engineering year, like the last one, the one where I was going to graduate, I have, there was a community in my neighborhood where they announced an event, and I was really interested in the library. It was about at the time. And I was like, okay, so this is interesting. They're going to do an event about this and that. I'm very interested to know what they're going to talk about. Perhaps they're going to announce something new or teach us something that we didn't have before. So I have, this was my first time, into an event, sign up for it and try to attend the event. And after that, it's where I actually learned, the power of communities. I really liked the way the event was conducted. It wasn't something grand or anything like that, anything impressive, but I really liked it, the vibe and all of that. Having lots of people enjoying, giving you talks about something they enjoy, and receiving it and discussing with them about life, and connecting with them. So this was the huge part in my life that helped me, shape who I am right now. So that was the first step. So yeah, thanks to these amazing communities I have been part of, especially one of them is Mdena, that helped me, Rosanna, Aruna, and Erum, and Kusum. Kusum was one of the first people I have met in the PTSD challenge through Mdena. So yeah. So, through these communities, you usually learn how you can, expose yourself, talk about your skills, learn new skills. And this is the like this is what is like all of us share in AI Wonder Girls, and even the AI girls group that Rosanna helped shape. So we all have been part of some kind of community that helped us like open up to the world and share our skills. And there are very different communities we have been part of. So this was like the like the common point that helped us like just improve who we are and our social skills, because those are actually more important than the technical skills, what you will learn later on in life. So through the the AI girls group, I just was like, okay, so I came across the AI healthcare challenge, and I was like, okay, this is really an interesting challenge. And I really wanted at least one time to like be in a challenge and having a team that was going to help me with the challenge, because I always end up subscribing to challenges, building a team. At the end of the day, I end up doing the whole work and all the team members drop out. So I was like, okay, so I have this amazing group of ladies. Why don't I just try to like try to ask them to see if they would like to be part of that challenge as well. So I tried my I tried my luck. I shared the challenge with them, as we always share stuff. So I challenged the challenge with them, and I was like, who was interested? So truthfully, I wasn't expecting anyone to answer me, but then I ended up having a lot of ladies, like approving of the challenge. And then we began to form teams. We began to discuss, like what should we do, what is expected from us. And one of the tips I want to highlight when you're, when you're going for a challenge, is to always make sure you read what they want from you. Because if you know what they want from you and work on that thing, you will be able to, if you don't win first place, at least you will win one of those, like second or third. You just have to be very careful of what they want from you and deliver according to what they want from it. So yeah, like it's the same thing that happened for the second challenge as well. We shared the challenge, people were interested, and then we formed that group, we discussed, and then began working and learning by each other. Like this is how we act in our challenges. So I will let Arun answer for the technical questions.
Hi, thanks, Sara. Thanks, Pamdena, Harini, Rehab, for the invite and opportunity. So coming to the technical part of the hackathons that we have taken up, these are primarily in the healthcare domain. As you have seen our bios, like most of us have or currently working or have worked in in the healthcare domain, and we have specific interest in that area. So that is one of the strong reasons for us to pick up this. Also, we are like we strongly support AI for good. So if you see like all the communities that we are part of, or the kind of work that we do, it is usually and we support it and we believe in the cause. So that is one of the strong binding reasons for the success of this group, I would say. Okay, coming to the the technical part. At the broader level, I would say that these hackathons are not the regular type of hackathons where a model, you have to develop a model, and the accuracy, the focus is a lot on the accuracy. So these kind of the hackathons that we have picked up are not like focusing on the model part, rather a complete end-to-end solution, and trying to solve a particular pain point, or try to bring impact where there's a need, and we try to showcase that okay, this can be resolved like this. That is what we try to do in the first one, especially where the hospitals were involved, and they have given us like some areas like how they would want to build a communication system, and they wanted they wanted a framework wherein any model can be applied, and how you can the automatic report generation can be done, how you can communicate, how can they configure. So many cases, like it is all like fixed, like okay, this is what is going to be the report, and once that package is delivered, like they have to live with it. Okay, so in this case, like we have tried to build a solution which is supported by configuration. Like the report, the radiologist can anytime go into the UI and he can say like what fields he wants in the report. So that is one, and we have done the automatic report generation in addition to the model where we have taken this wrist fracture detection and the model has it would detect whether there is a fracture in the hand or in the wrist or not. Also, we tried to come up with the generation of the report, and it can be downloaded and forwarded to the clinicians and radiologists, and also a system wherein it would generate the critical cases. It would highlight so that they can focus on those patients where they can be prioritized. The medical care can be given to them at priority. So that was one of the objective. And the second one is the configuration, as I have said earlier. So basically, we try to bring up a multimodal approach there. I think this is the area, like it's not like only computer vision or only NLP or specific areas. Rather, when you try to, based upon the problem and the solution you want to arrive at, a mix of modalities, the multimodal approach is what would give a better solution. So let me move to the second hackathon that we have done. That is based on MLOps platform. It's an MLRun platform by Iguazio. And here also we have built a complete end-to-end solution. Here the focus is on diabetes to detection. And recently, if you have observed in the COVID pandemic, a lot of research study has been done on complications of, especially with diabetes type 2. There are a lot of complications that have that patients have faced, and the care that has to be given to this kind of this category of patients is very different. So we have done this pipeline which has both NLP and the other ML models. So coming to the NLP part, so we have picked up research study papers, and we have made our own data set and developed a question answering BERT model, which would where the user can query a question and it would list out the answers from those research papers. So that was the first one, and we have used a Hugging Face Transformers BERT model for this. And the second part is we have taken a ICU patient data set, the parameters of the data. This is an Kaggle data set that is there in the Kaggle platform, and this is detection of the diabetes 2 condition once a patient arrives to ICU. This again was important because in the COVID pandemic, this was a critical care, and suppose there is no history that this person does not has or not diabetes, then it would take some time for the test to be done. So in that case, this model would be helpful. So then here we have come up with models like LGBM and XGB. So these are the two parts to it. And coming to the the complete solution, this is an automated ML pipeline. Okay, so wherein it has like serverless functions. These are similar to the Lambda, AWS Lambda functions. These are Nucleo functions which can be run on the cluster, which, for example, like pre-processing of data, for training of the data, for serving of the model. These are the various functions for which we use, and this can be scaled. So you need not run only locally. Suppose you need a GPU, you can run it on the cluster. Okay, so it can be scaled. So the whole idea is you develop once, and it can be scaled and productionized, and it can be operationalized with less effort. The same thing now, if we have to do in a regular ML model, our cycle, each step is task in its own, and the integration and the maintenance is a huge task. So the second part is that we have the serverless functions are developed for pre-processing, training, and deployment, and the serving of the model. And we have done a Kubeflow pipeline, which hooks kind of all these and makes the complete pipeline. Okay, and this can be deployed. The best part is that it can be done using a continuous deploy. Suppose there's a change in the pipeline somewhere, just with a GitHub change, okay, you can run the entire pipeline, or if the data has changed, you can run it, and the notifications would come to the Slack. Also, it has good features like data drift, feature drift, and multiple data sources and things like that. So that is the backend part of this this second MLOps hackathon. We have also developed the UIs for this using Streamlit. So in the for both the cases, the earlier hackathon and this one, we have developed the UIs with Streamlit. Here, like in the second one, like the user will pose a question like, what are the COVID risks for a diabetes patient? Now, from the data set that we made from study papers, it will list down like what are the risks of that. So basically, this is to highlight that this is important. Okay, you have to attend to that, how important it is, and what are the findings of this. Okay, that is one. And the second thing is about the inference of the model. You can give, say, for example, you can run either a batch inference or a single case of inference where you give the patient data and it will tell you, the model will send a request on REST API, and it would get the result and display it whether it is this patient has diabetes or not. That is one. And also, like, we have showcased like explainability and things like that. Also, we have done like for topic modeling, we've used LDA. So these are the things that we have explored, and the best part is like it's a complete end-to-end solution, and the model is not important. If not this, we can once you have the framework, you can bring a new use case very easily. And with the case of MLOps, the highlight here, the objective is to highlight, basically the leverage the platform for our solution. That was the idea in the second hackathon. So overall, like I would say, like it's a mix of NLP, computer vision, designing of the solution, understanding the requirements, understanding the where it would and how the solution would address a particular problem, what is the impact it is going to have. So these are the key things that we try to address as part of these hackathons.
Thank you very much, Aruna. So before I firstly go to the second set of questions, thank you, Sara, for giving an overall view of how all of you participate in the project. And of course, Aruna, this effort, the deployment of end-to-end pipeline, as you discussed, we can see the amount of efforts that went through and the skills that was needed and the amount of collaboration all of you worked on. Thank you very much once again for taking time to explain all the projects that you have done together as AI Wonder Girls. Thank you. So I would like to next invite Melania, if she could talk about the domain expertise, the significance of domain knowledge in data science, coming from a background of bioinformatics. How is the domain knowledge significant in these fields?
Yeah, sure. So basically, I started with microbiology. So the background was coming from to be me looking into how we can look into interaction between the host and pathogen. I was started like that. So to address that question, obviously I needed some tools, and those tools, beside biology or benchwork, I needed to analyze my data. So it's easy to work with IT people to get your data analyzed. But usually the domain knowledge gap makes you go back and forth several times. And specifically when it comes to where you have some changes, it's hard to adjust a hard-coded case there. So I started looking into my own data analysis as a bioinformatician. And as a bioinformatician, it's you looking at big data, which are coming from the genes, proteins, RNA, metabolites, all those cool things that can help you be healthy, but also, unfortunately, any small failure in that can make you really unhealthy. So how I started looking into those bioinformatics was looking into our programming first. That's what academics do. We love looking into great, beautiful graphs that you're capable of making with language in R. And later on, I noticed that there are a lot of hyperparameters that you need to tune in. That means that I needed to also move into ML, which is machine learning. So to do that, I got into the projects which are more specifically coming to be healthcare data and very large data. And I saw the advantage of Python. So I started looking into different opportunities. I started looking into my own data, how or what's the best way that I can not only learn a new technique, but also analyze my own data, as Aaron was suggesting, looking to your needs and see how you can leverage what is in AI. And my goal is precision medicine, and I really love understanding what's the best way that we can personalize every solution. So, which is very ideal. I don't know how far we are from that, but the concept is looking into the bigger picture and analyzing the data for the social good in a way that everyone can access that, and also it's easy to interpret. So that's how I started looking into more of the AI and more the best ways that I can use Python into the already known packages, which are hard-coded and written in R, so that I can use them to not only mentor people to learn so that they can do their own analysis, but also myself improve what is out there so that we can do more of the better deployment of the models that we have. So my point here is coming from medical or benchwork studies, you can, in whatever domain knowledge that you have, being business or any other thing, you can still learn the techniques and you can still apply them, but you need to have a clear question there. And you need to know or define where you want to land at the end. So that can be dynamic, it can change, but start looking into your own current information, see what is lacking there, see how you can contribute that. I love looking into the bigger picture, as all my team members here are. We want to do the best as I can with the best knowledge that we have. So that's how I started. So I understand that bioinformatics is mostly looking into biology and informatics, but now bringing ML and AI, which we really need in medicine, is what we actually need people to work in. So I hope that with this small talk, I managed to point you that you can come from any background, go towards what you think is going to be the AI and contribute to social good. You are capable of doing that. Just know what's the question that you want to do and where you want to contribute the best. And I believe that there are lots of communities out there you can join, you can search, and you will find people once you look for them. And that's how I met these wonderful ladies here. And I'm really proud that I'm part of this team, and every individual is amazing. So I believe that you will find such a great team once you start looking into them.
Thank you very much, Melania. I mean, talking through your experience, we understood how the background and domain knowledge plays a role in AI, or how you came through it and how everybody else can go through it. Thank you very much. So keeping time in mind, we have the next two questions or the next two sessions planned. We have one last question and then we'll go ahead with the Q&A session. So the last one is about what advice would all of you like to give in order to build a reputation in the data science market? I think this would be like $1 million question, but yes. So how do you go on to build a reputation in the data science market?
I'll answer this. I'll start out. Zanju here.
Sure.
I'll start out because what I felt and what I did was creating my portfolio. I think that helped me a lot, especially with Omdina and real world projects, not just Omdina, but actually real world projects, even Kaggle projects, or wherever you can find projects that you can contribute to. So building a portfolio actually helped me a lot. With getting projects with different projects done. I also contribute to Code for San Jose, and we are doing an NLP project there for analysis of like different public service meetings and stuff like that. So I would like to start out by saying that building a good data science portfolio is very important. At least that's what helped me. I can pass that to somebody else.
I can elaborate on that. Thanks, Harini, Rehab, and Omdina for this opportunity for AI Quant Girls to be here and share their experience, share what they are all about, and provide some advice from our standpoint. So the question was, how do you build a reputation, right? First and foremost, to build a reputation, you have to put in the work to clearly demonstrate your competence in the field. And not all of us can be there, but we can build this over time. I mean, you should know your stuff. That's first and foremost in building a reputation. And then other two things I would recommend is that value and recognition, right? What value does the work that you do provide to your community, to your company, and do those around you in your organization or in your community, are you helping those around, those who are around you, right? Are you contributing to the community, to the organization? Are you spending time with your stakeholders? Are you making yourself, I think making yourself indispensable by building that competence and adding value is crucial to having a reputation. Another point is that have your peers, your community, or your manager, if you're in a professional setting, recognize your work. These days, it's very straightforward to kind of put yourself out there with efficient communication at our hand and social media and so on. So it's very easy to increase the visibility of your work. So in addition to being competent and adding value, make sure that it's recognized, right? Because sometimes if you don't speak out for yourself, you don't get recognized. You may be great at what you do, you may be competent, but you should have that recognition also. So make sure you cover that aspect of it. And if you're not there yet, another thing you can do is to seek help, right? There are a lot of people out there who are willing to help you in whichever way you want to guide you, right? There are a lot of experienced people and who give their time and efforts. And I think the AI Wonder Girls are one of them. They're always willing to support and help and guide you technically, even just support you personally. So think of a mentor as your North Star, somebody that will keep you on track, whom you can turn to for guidance, and not just technical guidance. There is a lot more. Having a reputation is a lot more than being just technically savvy, right? You have to expand your knowledge, but even sometimes it's how you navigate a difficult conversation or a conflict. How do you give feedback? How do you listen to feedback? And sometimes you need encouragement. So during tough times, so having a mentor or having a group of people to talk to is great. And if you're in a professional setting, or even if you're not, having a sponsor. Now, the way I distinguish sponsor is mentors give you advice and guidance, but sponsors will advocate for you. They will speak for you. So make sure you cultivate these sponsors out there for yourself. And it's not easy. You have to build that competence, you have to build that reputation, and you have to build a relationship with your sponsors so they can advocate for you, they can speak out for you. So these are some of the tips I can offer. And I was mentioning before, a word of caution is it's not enough just to be technically competent, right? You can be that very difficult, competent person that nobody wants to work with, and that's not fair. That's something you don't want to be, right? So other traits, I would say, also pay attention to other traits such as integrity. Show up, walk the walk, and talk the talk, as they say, right? And having emotional intelligence is also equally important. Empathize, look at it from another person's standpoint, listen, and be heard, right? So I think one of the and so these are some of the tips that I can share in order to kind of build your reputation, as a data scientist. So yeah.
Thank you, Nishan. Thanks both Anju and Nishan for talking once again through your experience and how we can build a reputation here. I'm sure that's going to be very useful for the rest of the folks. Thank you once again for joining the panel. And we just have a couple of questions from the audience. So the first one is we got a question from Mahesh. On just on a basic level, that if communication is important in data science. So that's one of the basic questions that we've got. Do we have anyone who could answer that?
I'll just say communication is important everywhere, anywhere in your life, be it personal, be it professional. Work hard to cultivate that. I think it's, as I was mentioning, it is equally critical to be technically savvy and having communication. If you cannot communicate at work, if you cannot communicate in the right place, right way, and the right time, you can lose a lot of momentum in building that reputation or having that, building that rapport with somebody and so on. So I would give first and foremost attention to being, building a good communication for yourself, in addition to being technically savvy.
Thank you, Nishran. The next one is about after. Sorry,
So
Sarah.
yeah, I was just
Please go
going
ahead.
to I was just going to point out that I know it's very difficult to be, like a communication person, especially for people that are introvert. But it is time. I mean, now is the time for you to go out and talk to people. Like when I was young, I couldn't really, like as a person I have never seen or even approach a person, like I have never talked to. It was very difficult for me. And people think, I am actually a social butterfly, someone who talks everywhere. Actually, it wasn't like that. I was a timid person and I couldn't talk to people I never knew. I always only stick to my mother, like anyone else, I didn't really feel any confidence to talk to people. But then, like my father kept pushing me and telling me, you need to talk to people. Like, okay, so you don't know him, just go approach him politely, and ask the question you want to ask. It's okay if someone laughs at you, like people think sometimes that the question you ask is actually stupid. Well, that's like that's their loss, not yours. We're going to gain, learn, either it be failure or success, just learn, because we're here as humans, and the property that humans have is learning from their own mistakes and building up on that.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, absolutely. All of us learn from our own mistakes. And thank you for that overview of how you overcame that and how everybody else can overcome the challenge over here. So the next question is from Mohammed on after Omdena as to how we get a job. Before I go to the rest of the people present on the panel, I would like to answer this question on how do we get a job after Omdena. So as a part of Omdana, when we run various challenges and projects, we also have a very talented pool of data scientists who participate in these challenges. They either get directly hired by the organization, or we also offer talent projects specific for them, which is very important in career development as they work on professional projects which will grow in their career and also on how they can apply for various other roles. So I will just open up to our panel if there's anyone who would like to address this question.
Maybe we can start. I don't know if
Yes.
anyone else will want to add, but I think that the really valuable thing that we have at Omdana is that we can really learn lots of skills, like the whole process, the whole pipeline process. That is something that really, if you take online courses, is not something that you will get. And at the same time, of course, like do social impact. And that means that you can like really get involved in projects that are related to the things that you are interested. For example, if you are interested in some field and you don't have the domain knowledge or even like experience in this field, you can really like look into projects related to that, be it finance or healthcare and so on, and really get to have experience with that. By volunteering, by making an impact, and at the same time learning a lot of things and having this extra experience in the field. And I can say for a fact that for me, like I wanted to get into the energy sector, and then I got a lot of experience by participating in projects related to this topic. And maybe not exactly the thing that I was doing, but that I'm doing now, sorry, but it was something that I was not like a completely new person to the field. I already had a little bit of experience by those projects, and of course some others as well. But this is something that is like very valuable to really get to get into the field that you want to apply AI, and at the same time like learn how to build a product and so on. And it's like a really valuable whole process, I would say.
Thank you, Rosanna. Rosanna is our veteran Umdana collaborator who's been a part of about, I believe, 13 challenges, if my number is right. So thank you for providing that insight and feedback. With this, I would like to end this session with our AI Wonder Girls on how to be recognized in the data science market. I would like to extend my thank you to everybody else on the call, which is including the audience, and of course, not to forget Rehab, who is our backend for this. Talking on the technical terms, she's the backend for all our events and the person who manages this. Thank you very much, Rehab, and thank you the rest of the team for joining us. I'm looking forward to have yet another session planned next month. So thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Dina.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Yeah, I want to go.
Hello? Hello? Awesome, girls. Awesome. I'm really happy. I learned a lot from you. Actually, every time I really appreciate your presence, your overall look on the screen is amazing. I love you all, actually, and your insights are very helpful. Thank you, Nishrin, Rosanna, my favorite girls every time. Iram, my friend, every one of you. Really, really happy to meet you, Melania, Sara, Kulsum. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to welcome Melania and Kulsum, but really nice to meet you. Andrew, thank you. Everyone, Harin, you are perfect always. And I really want to be your friend. If you allow me to be just cheering you from outside, AI Wonder Girls, I would like to have that honor always. And I'm really sad that Deepika is my friend before even joining Ombena. So I'm sad why she texted me yesterday and she said she will be there, but she didn't. And I will talk to her again. Thank you. Really insightful. I'm proud of you, all of you.
Thank you so much for the invite too. Thank you.
Thank
It was
you
an
so much,
enjoyable
Rehab.
session.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. See you soon again in any event. I like your background, Melania. Awesome. Actually, thank you. Thank you, girls. Thank you. Meet again very soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye.